This is 6th grade Excel, lesson 62. 6th grade, lesson 62. All right, first we're going to learn about dividing a 2-digit divisor into a 3-digit dividend with a 2-digit quotient. In other words, 2 digits on the outside, the divisor, going into a 3-digit dividend, the number on the inside, and the answer is going to end up having 2 digits. The quotient has 2 digits, and perhaps a remainder also. This shouldn't be too tough. As long as you know how to do your long division, it should be pretty simple. And let me get that cleared out. Let's take a look at the sample problem number 1, 385 divided by 12. So 12 does not go into 3, so we join the 3 with the 8. 12 goes into 38 3 times. 3, oops, let me get rid of that. 3 times 12 is 36. 38 minus 36 is 2. Bring down the 5. That makes the 2 become 25. 12 goes into 25. 2 times 12 is 24. 25 minus 24 is 1. So there is no other number to bring down. You have a remainder of 1. Notice how they check the answer. They do 32, which is the quotient up here, times 12, which is your divisor. And when you multiply 32 times 12, you get 384. And you add then the remainder, and you end up with 385, which matches the 385 here as the dividend. So you can feel reasonably sure that your answer is correct. Let's go ahead and do number 2 together and try to keep up with the video. Just leave the video running as you're doing this and fill in the answer on your paper as you go. 46, first of all, does 46 go into 9? Of course it doesn't. So you have to say, does 46 go into 96? Yes, it does. And it goes in at least once. So let's guess and check. What about twice? 46 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. 92, 96. That goes in twice. So you're going to put the 2, make sure you keep it lined up perfectly. The 2 has to go right above the 6. Don't put it above either one of the 9s. 2 times 46, as we just learned, is 92. Subtract 96 minus 92 is 4. Bring down the 9. And then we have to put 46 into 49. How many times does 46 go into 49? Once, of course. 1 times 46 is 46, and 49 minus 46 is 3. There's no other number to bring down, so that's my remainder. Then to check it, I'm going to do 21 times 46. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Placeholder. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Add those together. And 6 plus 0 is 6, 2 plus 4 is 6, 8 plus 1 is 9, but then we have to add the remainder that we have up there as well, and we get 969, which is the same number that we see right there, so we can be reasonably sure that our answer is correct at 21 remainder 3. Alright, why don't you go ahead and try numbers 3 and 4, pause the video while you're doing that, and then turn it back on to see the solution. And what you should have done is put 32 into 96. That goes 3 times, goes in perfectly. 3 times 32 is 96. 96 minus 96 is 0. Bring down the 5. 32 does not go into 5, so the 5 is my remainder. And I prefer to put the 32 on the top when I do this, because that way I can just stick a 0 down for my placeholder for that 0 and do 32 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. It's 960. Add your remainder of 5. 965. Alright, 21 into 90. That's going to go 4 times. 4 times 21 is 84. And subtract and get 6. Bring down your 3. 21 into 63. Looks like it's going to go 3 times. 3 times 21 is 63. And 63 minus 63 is 0, so you don't have a remainder on that one. Let's do 43 times 21 to check it. 43 times 1 is 43. Put a placeholder in. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. Add them up. That's 10. Carry the 1. 903. So we can feel pretty good about our answer because that's what's written up here as well, 903. All right, moving on. We're going to go down to the next concept that we're looking at today, which is simplifying answers when you're doing fraction, addition, or subtraction problems. From now on, you're going to reduce or simplify the answer that you get. So let's do a couple together here, and then you'll try some on your own. 5 and 1/6 plus 2 and 6/9. First of all, we have to find a common denominator. And 9 and 6, what we do to find a common denominator, of course, is take the larger of the two numbers and skip count by that. 9 times 1 is 9. 6 doesn't go into 9. The next count of 9 is 18. 6 goes into 18. So we're going to make 18 our denominator for both fractions. And 6 times 3 is 18, so 1 times 3 is 3. 9 times 2 is 18, so 6 times 2 is 12. When we add these up, we're going to get 15/18. And 5 plus 2, don't forget the whole numbers, is 7. So the answer is 7 and 15/18, but 15 and 18 can be simplified or reduced, and 15 and 18 can both be divided by 3. So my final answer is going to be 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 18 divided by 3 is 6, so it's 7 and 5/6. Why don't you go ahead and try numbers 6 through 8. Make sure you simplify your answers. Turn the video back on when you're ready to see the answer. Okay, common denominator of 4 and 6. Skip count by the 6's. 4 doesn't go into 6. Next count of 6 is 12. 4 goes into 12. So 12 is going to be my common denominator. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. 6 times 2 is 12. So 3 times 2 is 6. This is a subtraction problem. So we're going to do 7 minus 4 is 3. And 9 minus 6 is also 3. 3/12. And we can simplify that. But divide both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And so the answer is 3 and 1/4. If you got 3 and 3/12, that's great. We've known how to do that before today. Remember, the point of the lesson today is to know that you have to simplify any fractions you get for the answer. Now I noticed on this one you could have used 5/10 and 1/4, but I noticed that before I even start the problem that 5/10 is the same thing as 1/2. So I think I'm going to simplify this before I do the problem. Just a different way to do it, and you'll notice that even if you didn't do it that way, you should still end up with the same answer. Common denominator of 2 and 4 is of course going to be 4, and 1/2 is equal to 2/4. 1/4 is the same thing as 1/4, and 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. 9 minus 4 is 5. 1/4 cannot be simplified. You probably got an answer that had to be simplified if you did it a different way. I prefer to do it this way. It's a little bit faster, so maybe you learned a different way to do it. And on this one, 1/6 and 2/8, common denominator. I could reduce 2/8 to 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and do this as 2/8 though. And 2/8, 8 and 6, skip count by 8s. First count of 8 is 8. 6 doesn't go into 8. The next one is 16. 6 does not go into 16. The next count of 8 is 24. 6 does go into 24. And so 24 is going to be my common denominator. 8 times 3 is 24, so 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24, so 1 times 4 is 4. Add this all together, and you get 4 and 10 24ths. But, oops. 10 and 24 are both even numbers, so I know I can at least divide those by 2. And I believe that's about the biggest number I can divide them by, greatest common factor. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. Even when I get an answer like this, I should still examine it and think about if there's a way to simplify it even further. The only thing I can divide a 5 by is 5, and I can't divide 12 by 5, so I can feel pretty confident that that is simplified all the way down to its simplest form. Okay, go ahead and clear that off. And here you can see the same answers. If you want to pause the video, take another look at those, you can, but I'm going to keep moving on. And we'll go down to same type of problems here again. Go ahead and solve these and pause the video while you're solving them. Turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, the first one, 1/3 and 2/5. Got to find a common denominator. 5 and 3. Skip count by 5s. 3 does not go into 5. 3 does not go into 10. 3 does go into 15. And so we'll put a 15 for our common denominator. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15, so 2 times 3 is 6. And you add it up and get 1 and 11/15. Well, there's no way to simplify 11 other than dividing by 11. Can't divide 15 by 11, so that's already simplified. Next one, 8 and 3 are my denominators. And the lowest common denominator of those, 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract. This is a subtraction problem. We get 2 and 2/24, 3 and 2/24, and that can be simplified because those are both even numbers. The 2 becomes 1, and 24 becomes 12 by dividing top and bottom, numerator and denominator by 2. Next one, you could, probably the way you did this is to change 1/5 into 2/10 and then add. Instead, I'm going to notice that 6/10 can be reduced to 3/5, and then I have a common denominator already. So when I add them together, I get 13 and 4/5, which is what you should have gotten even after simplifying on your answer. And then the common denominator of 2 and 7 is 14. So that becomes 14. 1/2 is 7/14, 2/7. 7 times 2 is 14, so 2 times 2 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3, 3/14. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So the answer is 1 and 3/14. There's no way to simplify that because I can only divide 3 by 3, and I can't divide 14 by 3. So there you have it. There are your answers. You can pause the video if you'd like to take a look at that. It's the end of lesson 62. Thanks for watching.